Okay, now we're going to start solving absolute value equations. I do these differently than a lot of people, and I follow the definition. Now, first, when I've talked about absolute values before, most people say, well, the absolute value, it makes a number positive. Well, that's your kindergarten and first grade definition. Then they say, oh, well, it's the distance from zero. Well, that's your second grade to fifth grade definition. You are now beyond that. The absolute value is defined as a piecewise defined function. It is negative x if x is less than 0, and it is x if x is greater than 0. Now, I want you to notice this. What this means is that it is the function y equals negative x if x is less than 0. So where is the negative sign acting? Is it acting on the y value or the x value? It is acting on the x value. So when you solve an absolute value equation, are you going to put your negative sign on the 8 or on the t? Are you going to put it on the x or the y? We want to put the negative on the x values. All right? That is important. Okay? Math is not magic. Math has logic. All right? So when you solve these, first off, this right here tells us we're going to have two equations. So you're going to have two equations. Okay? Two equations, then two answers. All right? So you're going to have two equations and two answers. So your first equation is going to be the positive. 5t plus 6 equals 8. That's your positive. That's your positive. Then you're going to have a negative answer or a negative equation. All right? And that's going to be where the negative and your x, so a negative, what's in the absolute value bars, equals your answer. So that's your negative. And notice that it's a negative, what's inside equals your answer. Okay? Now, these are just simple equations. You just solve them like normal. So I'm going to pull the 6 to the other side. So I have 5t equals 2. So t equals 2/5. Simple. I distribute my negative sign. 5t minus 6 equals 8. Negative 5t equals 14. So t equals negative 14/5. If I can write. And we're done. And then we need to check. And again, I'm going to check one and leave you the other one to check. Two fifths plus 6 equals 8. So this means that the absolute value of 2 plus 6 equals 8. So the absolute value of 8 equals 8. Well, the absolute value of 8 is a positive number, so that means it's 8. So it's 8. It works. Actually, I am going to check the negative because I want to show you how to work the negative. Okay? So I'm going to put this in. So that's 5 times negative 14/5. Okay. Negative 14/5 plus 6 equals 8. So that's the absolute value of negative 14 plus 6 equals 8. So that's the absolute value of negative 8 equals 8. But negative 8 is less than 0, so this should be negative a negative 8 is 8. So negative a negative 8 is 8 equals 8. All right? So that's how you would work the absolute value. Okay? So let's go on to the next question. Now, this one is really kind of interesting. What is the answer of an absolute value problem? It is always a positive number. So can I say that the absolute value is equal to a negative number? No. The absolute value of 3x minus 5 is always positive. Is always positive. Right? But negative 3 is negative. Right? Therefore, and these three symbols right here means therefore, there is no solution. That's it. There's no solution. That was just to see if you understand what absolute value means. Okay? Now let's try this one. Okay? First thing we need to do is we want to isolate the absolute value. So we're going to move the 8 over. So we're going to have negative 3 absolute value p minus 4 equals negative 6. Now, some students would say, oh, well, you just have the same problem you did in the last one. I don't. I have a negative 3 here. So now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. So what I actually have is p minus, the absolute value of p minus 4 equals to 2. So I actually do have a legitimate absolute value problem. So now I'm going to break it into my positive question, which is p minus 4 equals 2, and my negative question, which is negative parentheses p minus 4 equals 2. So p equals 6, and negative p plus 4 equals 2, so negative p equals negative 2, so p equals 2. Okay, then I need to check. So p equals 6. I'm going to put it into 8 minus 3 absolute value. 6 minus 4 equals 2. So that's 8 minus 3 absolute value of 2 equals 2. So that's 8 minus 3 times 2 equals 2. So that's 8 minus 6 equals 2. So 2 equals 2, and that works. So p equals 2. I have 8 minus 3, absolute value of 2 minus 4 equals 2. 8 minus 3, absolute value of negative 2 equals 2. So 8 minus 3 times 2 equals 2. So 8 minus 6 equals 2. So 2 equals 2, and that works. So my solutions are p equals 6 and 2. And that works. Please email me if you have any questions. Thank you.